Hello, welcome to Should I Buy This Game? Featuring Flower Fields. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played, and then share a few things I might like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add flower fields to your collection. This is the game Flower Fields. And this is a cute little tile placement game, and you can play solo and up to 4 players. I'm going to show you the basics on how you play. I'm pretending we're playing with 2 players, but I'm just showing you the one side. So the first option you can do is get yourself a tile. And so you put out tiles here. So for 2 people, it would be 8 tiles. In this middle are areas where you have the option. You can spend 2 Bs to get a little tile, or you can also just take the 2 Bs as one of your turns. But because we're just starting, we're going to get a tile. Now I can get the tile in front of my son for free, or if I wanted a tile further down, I would have to spend a B, which would be left there, to get this tile. But I am happy with this first tile, so I'm going to keep my Bs and take this first tile, and the sun will just move closer. So when you're placing it onto your board, there's already some tiles placed on, and each board it varies a little, and there's also different sides. You can choose which side you want as your base, but we're going to just start just with the base at number 1 circle there, so everybody would start with the same way. So some of these are already printed on, and you can use these or you can cover them up. It's up to you. The other thing you see here are spider webs and beehives. So at the end of each round, you would take your beehives minus your spider webs, and that's how many extra bees you will get for the following round. One thing we're trying to do is match up colors to have large groups of colors together. That's how we score points. So I may put this one here. The first one you put on has to touch the bottom. And I'll put this one here because 1, I've covered up a spider web. 2, I've been able to connect the blues, and this orange comes, I'll be able to connect those. When you first put on a piece, if it's your first one in that color, you can put a B on if you have a B in your supply. You will be scoring based on the number of Bs times the number of spaces. Now you can see here how it looks like it takes over 2 squares. This is actually only 1 area. The same with this piece I just placed. Even though it's over 2 squares, it's considered 1 area. So on this piece here, this is 3 because you can see 1, 2, 3. There's 3 divisions there. And so when we're counting up for our points, we're looking at the areas on the pieces. So I put that there. That would be my turn. Now the first time you place a B, you can place it just as it is, like that. So say the next person maybe takes this piece. We'll put that aside. And so it's our turn again, and I'll just take this piece because I don't want to spend my Bs at this point. So I can go now wherever it's touching, but I can use these other pieces to touch as well. So maybe I want to put this here because I'll be covering up another one of those spider webs. I do have the option of covering these, as I mentioned, but I like it here because for the white, you get a point for the areas in your largest area as well. There's no bees attached to the white. Some of the pieces, though, do have more beehives. So say the other player took that piece, so we're now here. So let's see here, we could do something. If we do something like this, we are covering up that beehive, so you have to keep that in mind. But at the same time, we are connecting the oranges and the whites. So I might be fine with that. And then say we get this piece. Okay, so this is something I want to show you now because say if I put this piece here, this is the second B in that area. So I can put a B here, but I also have to give a B up. So for my second one, I place 1 and I give up 1. So it costs 2 Bs to add a second bee to the same color. Now, if I had a bee for the orange, it would be my first one. I only place one. But when you're adding it to the same color, you have to pay more. So for the next time I get a blue and I put a bee, I would have to place one and give up two. And so that is how the bees work. Because what will happen then is I now have 2 times the number of spaces in the blue that I will be scoring. So the player took that last piece. So now we look, and I have 1, 2, 3 spider webs, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beehives. So I get an additional 3 bees for the next round. And that is basically how the game is played. As I said, another option you have is you can spend 2 bees to take one of these little pieces. You would put your 2 bees here. That would be up for grabs for somebody else. Or you can take these 2 bees. Now that it was the end of the season, we remove these that weren't taken. And we replace it with 4 new ones. And there are a total of, I think, 12 pieces here because the game runs over, there's 4 left. The game runs over 3 seasons. And then once we get to the end of the game, we will score. So I'm going to just sort of fill out my board and then we'll get back to scoring. So here we have a completed board. And I did end up covering some of the printed ones on the board just so I could fit things into touch. So when you're scoring for the colors, if we start with this orange, we have 1 bee, and we can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So it would only be 6 points. This one up here was just a filler. These 2 pieces, they will not be scored. The blues, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, but we have 3 bees. So that would be worth 12 points. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only with 1 bee, so it's 6 points. This piece here never got connected, so you don't get to score it. And then with the white, as I said, you get 1 point, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there are 15 points in white. The other thing you can get points for is if you completed a row. I have 1 completed row is 5 points. And if you completed a column, so that would be like 5, 10, 15 points. And that's what you're looking for when you're scoring. Your groupings times the number of bees you have, and then columns and rows. And that's basically how Flower Fields is played. Now there is a solo mode to the game, and it's basically used to remove pieces from the board. So they give you these 3 little tokens. One side is 1, the back side is 0. And what you do is you just sort of move them around and drop them on the table. And whatever it adds up to is what you want to do. So I'm going to just go through them. So if it was 0, then you would remove one of these tiles and put 2 bees on the board. If it was a 1, you would take the tile that's right in front and remove it. A 2, as in our case, we're going to move this, put a bee on this tile and remove this tile. And if it was a 3, you would move forward 2 spaces, put out 2 bees, and then remove this tile. And that's basically what the solo mode is doing. You're playing your game regularly, but you would just drop those 3 little tiles and then do the corresponding action. Now, the only thing I wish with the solo mode is instead of giving us these 3 little tiles, just give us a D4 and be done with it. I think these little tiles are a little, so it's like, just give me a die. Really, what's with this stuff? But it's very simple, so if you want to play this solo, it's my favorite way to play a solo game. All it's doing is removing tiles from the board, and you carry on. You're not scoring, you're not doing anything else with the other side, you're just playing your own game. So overall, we enjoyed playing this game. I played it solo as well with 3 people, and it plays fairly quick both ways. Having extra people while they're placing their piece, you're moving on and collecting yours. So you can sort of play it a little overlapping. It is just that, though. It's a very simple tile placement game. The big thing comes with the bee management. Like ideally here, if I was to put 3 bees, I would have liked a lot more blue so I could really benefit from those 3 bees. But when it came to these colors, I actually wasn't really getting the pieces to get more bees. The pieces I were getting had no bees. And if you have no bees, you get no points. You must have a bee on the area to score. These ones here, I just put them there so I could at least fill in some rows here to get the points, the 5 points. And so it's just depending what pieces come up for your turn, especially when you're playing with other people. You're like, I wanted that piece and they got it before me. And that sort of comes in with the conflict of it is, are you getting the pieces that you want? And do you have enough bees to pay for what you want to do? Because as I said, as you add more bees, as you add your 3rd bee, you got to pay more bees, right? So it is a bee management game. But otherwise, if you like little small tile placement games, you might really enjoy this one. It's, as I said, I like the theme and it is cute and fun to play. So let me know if you played Flower Fields and what you think of the game.